Worst kept secret in hockey right now, the reported rift between Elias Pettersson and J.T. Miller, the Canucks. And following Vancouver's 5-4 OT loss to Ottawa Saturday, the Canucks media corps had to ask Pettersson about it.
Still going on?
Yeah, well, it has been.
Well, it's the same answer. It's good. I don't know why people still try and make it up. Excuse my language, but yeah, that's my response to it.
So it hasn't been distracting you?
Oh my God. Next question.
Miller was asked about the situation on Sunday.
Bothered by the reporting about you and Petey?
I'm not. Listen, you guys, in a sense, out of the outer world, have created this thing. Like, this isn't a thing. So, am I bothered? No, but you guys are just wasting your time.
How tired are you about hearing of it?
I don't care. You guys want to talk about it? You want to ask me all you want. I can bring up Petey and we can do the interview together if that would make you guys happy.
But you know what you mean to this group, and Petey obviously knows what he means to this group, and right now not a whole lot happening for either one of you guys. Like, can this team get where it needs to go without production from you two?
Where do we want to go?
I would assume to the playoffs first of all,
right.
And beyond that. So.
Okay. So it'd be great if we could have 100 points for sure. That would be ideal, right? So we're just trying to play the right way. Points will come when they come.
Joined now by Farhan Lalji. Miller and Pettersson downplaying the issues between them. Farhan, how do you see this situation?
Truly, I think this is a thing, and I think it has been for the last few years in varying degrees. Now, I'm not sure anybody told Pettersson and Miller before their recent comments in the last couple of days that head coach Rick Tocchet and captain Quinn Hughes at times earlier this week both acknowledged that, yeah, it is an issue. Hughes talked about the fact this is something they need to work through. But really, if you're these two players, rather than being offended and creating a scenario where you think this is all media-driven or social media-driven, well, how about you worry about your own game? Because when it comes to Pettersson, he hasn't been the same player really since last year's All-Star break. He's had some moments while Miller was away where maybe he played a little bit better, but certainly not at the level he did prior to last year's All-Star game. There's been games where he's been completely invisible. And then you look at Miller, he has the 10 games off, he comes back, hasn't really made an impact. And you look at him last night, both the shorthanded goal and the eventual overtime winner, you can certainly question Miller for his effort. And, people have suggested that, okay, they're not putting the two men together out on the power play, but they did play them together shorthanded. Rick Tocchet has put the lotto line back together at various times, so whether they're together or apart, the chemistry simply isn't there, and they've got to find a way to work it out between them, because the thought that there's nothing there, I'm not buying it.
Well, not only is no one buying that, Rick Tocchet, the head coach, and Quinn Hughes, the captain of the team, came out recently and said it is a thing. So to say it's not a thing is obviously not true.
Yeah.
It is a thing, but as someone who's been in a lot of locker rooms, I assume you had teammates you didn't necessarily get along with. How do you view what you just saw as a teammate?
Well, Jay, I think I don't love that it's not a thing, it is a thing. Like, again, if it's a thing, it's a thing. But what I would say is that this isn't real life. A locker room is not, it's not a marriage.
Right.
I'm not married, but I've been told toxic marriages aren't good. However, toxic situations in the locker room can be very, very good, because you know what happens? The guys hate each other. Build it up. If it's a bridge too far, let them hate each other. You know what's going to happen? The whole time, now you're sitting there, you're extra motivated because your own teammate wants to rip your head off and you want to rip his head off. Happens all the time in the NFL. We had guys who wouldn't even speak. We go to practice, there's some wildly offensive insults going at each other. And you got to shut it off in the locker room. You got to be professional. But it can potentially drive you to having great, great outcomes. So where it gets bad is generally in the long term, it comes, it explodes. But in a short-term season, okay, it can really be beneficial.
Right.
I played in a year in Seattle, and I'm not going to mention any names. I'm sure some football fans can find out. But there's certain members of the defense who really disliked a certain member of the offense. And that might have been some of the best years we've ever had on offense. Again, I'm sure people can figure it out.
Yeah.
But Jay, that's how it is. Like, pro sports, you're not there to like everybody. Mm-hmm. You're there to compete and perform on game day. For us, it's only once a week. I'm sure for the hockey guys, it's tougher because they got to do it 82 times.
Yeah. Well, and let me throw a caveat in. The problem is that Pettersson has been struggling, and then Miller's out of the lineup for a bit. Pettersson plays well. It's almost like he does play better when he's not there. So It's almost like a reverse.
So
here
if
a
I
little
was Pettersson, I would say that. If they
Yeah.
have a rift, I would go in front of the whole team. If everyone knows they can't stand each other and be like, buddy, why can't you play well when, or why do I play better when you're not here?
Right.
And now all of a sudden it's like, people are being held to account.
It's out in the open.
It's
Yeah.
out in the open,
Yeah.
and it's uncomfortable.
Right.
But performance-wise, it's awesome.
I love it.
It's awesome.
Maybe they should fly you out. You can sit in the dressing room and work.
I'd
help
pour
the guys
gas
work
on
it
that
out.
fire. I'd pour gas on that fire.
Hey. All right, we got to move on.